hopefully. Oh yeah, there he goes. All right, might as well get started. Hello everyone, it's Jimmy here from Online Guy. As you can tell, my throat's a little bit raspy again. It's the time of year. No COVID, fortunately, just a little bit of a bit of a tickly throat. But it's Thursday again, and as you guys know, Thursday is Livestream day, and I'm sick of talking about marketing. So you've seen the last, to be completely honest, done a lot of marketing in the last couple of months. So I wanted to get business owners on, and I wanted to talk about being in the trenches and a little bit more about the nuts and bolts of business, as opposed to just about marketing in general. So we'll touch on marketing a little bit, but today I have on leading fellow. Now, for those who've been following my Online Guy, you would have seen I went for a trip to the Eastern States a couple of months ago, and I did an interview with Leon. Leon's actually one of the longest clients we've had here at my Online Guy, actually, and we've been a part of his growth and a part of his journey, and yeah, I thought he'd be a great person to get on. He's a really grounded guy, and he's running a brick and mortar business in the real world, and got some interesting insights. So, Leon, why don't you tell us a little bit more about yourself and a little bit more about Penrith City Tyres and Auto?
Yeah, so I'm Leon, as the introduction described. Own a tire and automotive store in Penrith. So we were trying to break into a few new areas within our business. So we had approached Jimmy from My Online Guy back sort of early days when he was kicking off, and he just straight from the get-go really seemed to know what he was talking about, and had some really promising outcomes that he thought we could achieve. So we jumped online really early with him, and yeah, had some great results, and really helped kick off the journey into some of the four-wheel accessories that we do at our company here. So that was a year and a half or more ago now, and it's been going great since day one, and yeah, just continue to build and build.
So tell us a little bit more about the history of Penrith City Tyres and Auto for those who don't know it.
Yeah, so we're coming up, like myself and my wife are coming up on 4 years of ownership. So we bought this store as just a regular sort of tyre and mechanical shop. Being I was quite into four drives and cars and modifications, we decided to go down a different route with the business slightly. So we've just hit about 240% growth in those 4 years with the help of Jimmy as well. But yeah, we really wanted to bring a workshop to the area that people can bring their vehicles to and know and trust that they're getting a decent service. There's a lot of people in the area that don't do things too well, so we really wanted to bring that high level of customer service to the area.
So talk me through. So obviously, just from memory, Leon, you're a qualified mechanic, yeah? And
yeah, correct.
You used to work for someone. Did you used to work for the company before, or did you work for someone else and then said, "No, actually, I want to do this myself and do it better"?
No, so before we purchased this store, I was working for a bus company, actually fixing buses as a heavy vehicle mechanic. Previously, before that, I actually worked to the store next door to this store here. So that's how I sort of had a relationship previously with this store. And then, yeah, I was sort of overworking for the place that I was working. Really wanted to do something for myself. Really liked dealing with customers and sort of being on the front of the front face of the business at a previous shop I was at. So I had missed that quite a bit while working on buses. And then, yeah, found out this store was available, knew a bit about the store, knew some of the customers already as well, which is a great bonus. Knew most of the staff here too. So yeah, it was a great fit and great timing that when I happened to be looking, they happened to be looking to sell. So worked out really well.
So how long was it running before you? How long has it been in operation for?
So the store previously, in its current name, well, it was Penrith City Tyres. We added the automotive to the end of it, but it was running as that for 11 years before we had it. Previously, it's been a tyre store for, I think, another 15 or 20 years before that as well, with several different owners, several going out of business quite quickly. So yeah, the actual physical location and being known as a tyre store has probably been here, I would say, 30 years plus.
So it's a bit of a Penrith institution. Everyone knows that. Doesn't matter what the name of it is, it's always the tyre shop sort of thing. And
yeah, that's it. We get some customers come in and say they used to come here for their tyres 25 odd years ago when it was Boral tyres back then. So yeah, it's quite good.
All right, so let's. Obviously, this is the first business you've bought and run, sort of thing. So,
Yep.
like, you get given the key. You would have done your diligence. Made the commitment. Get given the keys. What were some of the things? Because I just want to get straight into it because I think there's a lot of insights here that we can gather because a lot of you know you don't realize you're made for running a business until you kind of put in one. And so you got given the keys, open up on the first day. What were some of the things you discovered that maybe you wish, going around again, if you'd done a diligence a different way, you may have discovered and may have put you a little bit further ahead?
Yeah, I discovered quite quickly how hard it was to actually get suppliers to sell to you. Really had to beg and plead with them to actually sell me parts, which I wasn't expecting at all. A couple were quite good because I'd dealt with them previously at another shop that I was at running. So a couple were pretty good, but it was really hard to get on board with a lot of suppliers. I had a lot of time selling parts and tires at very, very minimal rates because I couldn't buy them at anywhere near the prices other shops were buying them for. So that was quite interesting, and then eventually built a good relationship with a lot of those suppliers. But yeah, that was one big thing, and then I guess staff was another one. We did grow quite quickly, and needing to find staff was always a struggle. Trying to find skilled staff in a skills shortage was always difficult. So that was a big struggle. Um, that and yeah,
So, So
sorry.
wheeling back to the sorry, no, just wheeling back to the supplies thing because that's interesting because obviously I work in a service-based business, so I don't have the same supplier issues that maybe a lot of businesses do. But I suppose that's not something you really expect when you walk into a business that that's going to be an issue. So what were some of the hurdles you came up with the suppliers? They just didn't give you good rates, or they just wouldn't sell to you because you didn't have the background in it, or what were some of the things they were saying to you?
Yeah, so generally it was we couldn't get an account, a trading account, with any of them, so having to pay up front before the customer ever walked in the door, and having to pay retail pricing and stuff like that. So we weren't able to sort of offer any better pricing to our customers to try and entice them in the door. Yeah, having to pay up front was a difficult one. Really was a struggle trying to keep cash flow going in the early days. It's always an issue forever, I guess. But yeah, in the early days it was very, very difficult. And
Because
then
you were
trying
paying
to,
you're paying the suppliers first, and
yeah,
then
before the
doubling
customers
up the
ever
cash
coming
flow.
in. Yeah.
Yeah, yep.
So paying it out of our pocket before, yeah, basically getting it put back in, and then yeah, trying to get deliveries from them. Trying to get them to help us out if we needed a part in a hurry for a customer. Now that we've built a good relationship, I can call and say, hey, I've got this part, I need it quite urgently. Can you help me out? And they're more than happy to oblige. But in the start, yeah, it was kind of like, oh, who are you? Here I was, a new business owner saying, "Oh, look, I promised to buy lots from you if you help me out with this." And yeah, them being very reluctant to do so. But as
Yep.
time got on, they got to know us. It was a lot better.
Yeah, that's so interesting, guys. If you have any questions, please leave them in the chat. Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Just leave them in the chat. They'll pop up. Will's on deck. He's going to keep an eye on that, and Michelle. So ask your questions. We're here to answer them. Leon's got a very unique perspective because he operates very much in the retail sector as well as the service sector. So it's like a big blurred line between the two. What he does, and we're going to dive into that in a sec. So get your questions in if you have them. So we're talking, yeah, supplies. So just getting those, and then you touched on cash flow there. Did you go in with a bit of a war chest, knowing that you were going to have that, or you kind of just expected to the business to sort of fund itself from day when you walked in, sort of thing?
No, we probably should have planned it a little bit better. We sort of had an amount we had planned to purchase the business and start with some running costs. That was quickly absorbed with legal fees, the price we actually purchased the business for. Then stock that some because we had some stock when we bought the business, but that ended up being a lot more than what had first been agreed upon. So trying to pay the stock portion of the business was a lot more than what we'd planned. Then finding out a lot of that stock was the items have been sitting out a very long time that we weren't going to be able to sell. So we were chucking out stock that we couldn't use that we'd already paid for as well. So that was a tough one. Um, but yeah, we didn't end up with it was always going to be quite a small sort of war chest, I guess, but ended up with next to no war chest in the end. But managed to get by and pull it through. So we've always had
Awesome.
amazing support here from our customers, so that's really helped.
And so you found the transition from Penrith City Tyres to PCTA. The customers sort of embraced that. Did the previous owner do much in the way of like helping like with the transition with his customer base and stuff like that, or was it just all you,
So I
working
sort
hard?
of I come in with his computer system, so I still had access to all of his customers. And I wanted to make a subtle change to the name to show people it was a new owner, but not completely push away all existing customers. So hence the adding the automotive to the end of it. We didn't want to change the name entirely, but yeah, also wanted to let people know it was under new management for the ones that weren't so pleased with service before. So hence the very small sort of name change, but having that database did help us as well of customers. So that and carrying over the existing staff as well. Customers were walking in and finding the familiar faces that they'd come to previously. So that was a help too.
So with that, like obviously, I like to just pick people's brains because I think it's really interesting to hear how it's funny. All the problems you have are similar to what I have as any other business owner has. But one thing that gets repeated all the time is staff. That's
Yeah.
that's the there's not a business that I've spoken to yet that's gone, yeah, we've got enough staff to run our
Yeah.
business. So what do what have you found? What have been some of the ways you've been advertising and finding staff, and how have you been able to retain the staff? And what have been some of the challenges with just staffing?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, challenges with staffing is always just finding the right people with the right attitudes, with the right skill sets. Because it's not just skills you need in this industry. You need the right morals, the right values. Customer service skills is a big thing. A lot of mechanics just have worked out the back of a workshop all their life and never had that interaction. Our whole workshop is front of house basically. It's all open to the street and the customers walking in. So everyone needs to have a little bit of customer service skills. So that was a big part that was hard to find. What we did was probably our most successful run of finding staff was just recently, a few months ago. Just through Seek was how we found pretty much all our staff. A couple were word of mouth, friends of friends, stuff like that. But just really we tried a new approach to it, letting people know that they would have involvement in our business sort of planning, which we do. We always get the team involved in sort of what the steps next for our business is. And then also we were offering a flexible work week. People that wanted to work 4 days a week, 5 days a week, 6 days a week, whatever sort of worked for their lifestyle and their budget as well, I guess. So yeah, just being flexible in that part, and letting them know they would be treated like part of the family, and have that sort of small business close knit environment. So that's what we focused on last campaign, and it worked well, and we got some really good crew now.
Yeah, so you found that was really attracted the right people, the ones that wanted to take ownership of the equipment and ownership of the customers and things like that. It's smart because it only attracts those kind of people. Like
Yeah,
some people that
definitely.
just want to clock in and clock out, they're not going to be attracted to that because it's like, oh, well, I have to do more, and it's like I just want to go in there and just get my check and nick off sort of thing.
Yeah, that's definitely right. So, I mean, quite quickly you could see the applications that were those people because they addressed none of the points we actually put in our advertisement. So, yeah, you quite quickly identified who read it and was actually interested in the role, given what we had said about the role, versus the people who just wanted to clock in, clock off, and go home and never think about it again. So, because that's
All
not what
right,
we're
so
after here. We want people that want to help and serve and give the customers
yes.
the best experience possible.
And then in return you provide them a good work environment, and they get a bit of say and a bit of satisfaction and a bit of ownership. It's a good trade-off. I think that's another thing I've sort of, as I've been talking to business owners doing these, it's funny, people are willing to take a pay hit, or not get paid the most in the industry for a place where they're appreciated, not not necessarily like good in work environment, but like just appreciated for what they do. And I think that's the secret, eh? Like every business I've spoken to that seems to keep staff and has no real staffing issues. That's the thing, is just treating people with respect and treating them, knowing it's a two-way street. Them working for you helps you as much as you're paying them.
That's it. That's it. It amazes me what I hear previous bosses have actually done to their staff and for their staff, or the lack of things that they've done for their staff. But it really amazes me what you and I might think is just a normal way of treating a staff member. You find out quickly isn't.
Yeah.
So sometimes just being a good person to your staff can be worlds above what they've had previously. So yeah, it's
That's so true. Like that is 100% what it is. It's like there's nothing. We hear it in this industry too. It's a bit churn and burn. This space, as any business owner knows, this agency space is full of cowboys, and some of the ways people get treated, they basically just get strung out, like wrung out, till they extract all their value out of this person, and then go move to the next person. It's terrible to hear, and
yeah, that's
the
it.
mechanics you hear of mechanical workshops and they're just like, no family time, no nothing. You gotta, if you don't want to do overtime, get out, sort of thing. It's no, it's really sad to hear. So let's talk about, like obviously you mentioned you've been sort of doing this for about 4 years now. What are some of the ebbs and flows that you've seen? Obviously businesses go through teething, and that kind of growth, 240% in 4 years, is obviously a big growth spurt. So, what are some of the challenges you've had, sort of growing and scaling up that fast, basically?
Yeah, so I guess one of the big issues was really the staff, as we sort of touched on. But some of the other issues was, again, as we grew and needed more supplies, was again the supplier issue that we experienced initially. Thought we'd moved on from that, but as we grew and required more supplies, we reached that again. And then space and organisation, I guess, is a big thing. We obviously, our workshop's only so big. We still struggle with space at the moment, but we're trying to plan our days better and the use of our space better. Things like we put in a mezzanine floor on one of our storage areas, so we can get all of our tires upstairs where they were previously down on the floor. That gives us space to store some of the new products we're offering, and then also space to store some cars as well where need to. We've put a cover over an outside hoist that used to barely get used so that people can use it more frequently. We're in the process now of looking into putting another hoist just around the back of the workshop as well to utilise what we do have to fit our growth in. So yeah, probably space I would say would be a massive issue that we faced as we grew. Even with our office, we had to take on another office person, but our old desk wasn't
You got your
designed for
mobile
two
office.
people. Sorry?
You got your mobile
Yeah, well,
office right
that's why I'm out here, kicked to the car. So,
here.
yeah, space is limited, so sometimes we work wherever we can.
Yeah.
Um,
So let's talk about a bit of the nuts and bolts of actually running a mechanic shop or automotive shop specifically, right? So obviously I get a bit of an insight. I've gotten a little bit of insight. We had mutual, we connections and things. So what are some of the key metrics you need if I was wanting to start an automotive shop tomorrow, I wanted to buy one, what should be some of the key like KPIs as an automotive shop I should be sort of looking at to make sure that the profitability is there in running an automotive shop?
Yeah, I guess this is a topic I'm still learning on and still trying to further my knowledge base on. But I mean, one of the big things is your effective labour rate. So basically, we take how many hours you've actually got in a day and that you're paying your staff versus how many you're actually booking out. And work out how much labour are we actually booking out each day. That's a big one for our productivity. Our return on our marketing investment is another big one. Just seeing how many leads do we get. I guess a few of the other ones I've been told over the time I should be tracking more is our phone call inquiry rate as well. I've been pretty slack on that. Our sales conversion being in the office, because we do a lot of sales and stuff as well. It's not just booking in services. Tracking that would be a big one. As I said previously, we don't really. Average invoice would be another big one. And then just, I guess, like any business, the gross profits, it's a big one to consider. So rather than working on our total sales figures, we don't concern ourselves too much about that because that doesn't pay our bills. What does is, what sort of gross profit the jobs are turning over. So it's about just making sure that's balanced with, what our overheads are for the guys' wages and our rent and things like that. So it's a thing that gets
And
overlooked a lot.
I was just going to say, where do you think some of the, obviously it's still early days. 4 years is a long time, but
Yeah.
some of these workshops have been around 30, 40 years. But like, where do you think some of the people trip? Like, where were some of the areas you went? If I just not done this, if I just I didn't instinctually get this right or stuff, it would have tripped us up, and it would have been the thing. Where are some of those pinch points you feel like in the automotive industry you really need to keep a focus on to really make sure you don't drive it, end up in a big death spiral to the bottom?
Yeah, I guess productivity is a very very big one. Looking at the workshop and seeing the guys are so busy all day, and you're struggling to finish on time, and you think, oh wow, we're so busy. We must be doing okay, and then actually looking at that productivity and realizing, well, okay, we are busy. We're still only booking out half the hours we're actually here, or actually paying the guys. So working on the productivity was a massive one. Um, and then I guess the price matrix of parts is a big one as well, where people often get stuck on. Everyone has different overheads, so it's hard to be working out what sort of markup there is on parts and stuff. Especially because we do tires, we do full drive accessories, we do general car repairs, we do modifications. They all have different sort of um, you know market guidelines for where you can be inside the market. So it's hard trying to justify what jobs are worth doing and what jobs aren't. And myself, I like to do every job the customer needs. Basically, I don't like letting a customer down because there's not something we can do. But sometimes you just need to say, look, I cannot do that. Without charging you to more than that's worth. Because we're realistic. We treat people how we'd like to be treated ourselves. So if someone comes in for an item and I just can't do it at a reasonable price, and I know they could get a lot better value elsewhere, unfortunately, sometimes I do have to send them on, and let them know that. But I mean, I think customers do appreciate that as well. So
Yeah, so that's a big thing, isn't it? It's like, not just taking any job because it's, you need more revenue in the business. It's like actually taking on the jobs that, from a productivity standpoint, get the best return of the time of the mechanics, eh?
yeah, definitely, definitely. There was a time we were just doing that. We were just doing whatever we could, and you'd look at it at the end of the day, and it's taken double the amount of time that you could charge, because if you charge more, you'd be way too expensive. And then you look at the fact that it's taking you double the time, you're like, well, by the time I look at all my overheads, we've actually gone backwards on that job.
Yes.
And things like that. I mean, another big thing that people don't realize is like the warranties. You have to allow for warranties and stuff. If a part fails, yeah, supplier might fix us up for that part, but then we've got to wear the labour time. So it's things with high warranty turnovers, like jobs with high warranty claims, I guess you got to be careful about too, because if you do those all the time, you're going to be spending a lot of time doing warranties, and it's through no fault of your own. It might be part failure. um, so yeah, that's another big thing to consider that a lot of people don't.
Yeah, the warranty is a double-edged sword too, because it pulls someone off doing retail work as well,
Yeah,
and you're not getting paid for the labor. It's like,
that's it.
yeah, that was always the thing in agriculture, is like warranty was the worst, and then the labor, if they do pay for labor, it's always at the lowest rate, and
Yeah,
or they said it. Oh, this is only going to take you 2 hours to do it. It's like, actually, has anyone ever actually done this from base
yeah,
or wherever? It takes 10 hours to pull this thing out. So, yeah,
yeah. No, that's a
100%.
very good point. The whole times guide thing in this industry is, I'd like to meet the person who made it. I'd employ them in a heartbeat.
Yeah, Formula One pit crews. It's like, oh, change tire. Yeah,
That's
it's
it.
in the real world. It doesn't work like that. So, talk a little bit about the customer. I know that's something I really gel with is that your philosophies on customer service and support. So, talk a little bit about your customer service, your customer support, the things you do that that you feel like either others should be doing or you feel are pretty unique in the industry?
Yeah, I guess one big thing we offer is a lifetime warranty on our workmanship. It's a pretty easy thing to do. I feel like every workshop should be doing it. If you've got confidence in your skills and ability, you should know that the job's going to get done right. Offering a lifetime warranty on your workmanship shouldn't cost you anything. As long as you're decent at what you do. But yeah, look, the big thing is just making sure customers are sort of served how you'd expect to be. Things like time and time again in the industry, you hear people go in for a service somewhere, they got to pick their car up, and here's the bill for all the work that we've done. I didn't approve that. I came in for a minor service. How have I now got $1,000 bill? Things like we won't do any extra work without calling a customer first and confirming that. I actually occasionally get customers upset sometimes that I tried contacting them, couldn't get through, and come the end of the day, they call me and I say, I needed this extra work, but we couldn't do it. And they're like, oh, well, I wanted it done while it was there. I'm sort of on the other end thinking, if I had have done that without, your approval,
Yeah.
I wouldn't be able to sleep tonight. So things like that, and just making sure you try and keep in regular contact with the customer about their vehicle. That's one thing we do struggle with because we have such a very high inquiry rate. It is hard for us to try and keep on top of that, but it's another big thing. Customers aren't often kept up to date with how their car is. And I guess
And
lastly,
is that something you do in the business, or do you have a team member
yeah.
that
So
does that?
it's me, and I've got another gentleman in the office with me, Aaron. So it's both of our roles. But yeah, some days are fine, and we keep on top of it really easy. Some days we just don't get a second to really stop and even look at the job cards.
Yes.
So we try to minimise that where we can, and maybe get some help from the guys out on the floor. But yeah, sometimes it can be quite difficult.
Yeah, yeah, and that sounds like something that's been. So, did you carry? Is that something you carried all the way through from the very start, or is that something you've just been evolving over time, the process based on feedback and angry customers or whatever, or is that you just carried that philosophy in when that's how I want to run a workshop sort of thing?
No, that's what I sort of carried in from the start. The previous shop I was at, I had wanted to do sort of things like that, and didn't always have an agreement from the boss at the time. We didn't always see eye to eye in exactly how I wanted to run it because to his credit, he was trying to run a business to earn a living. But I would look more at the customer service side of that rather than the dollars coming in. So I sort of came into this wanting to make sure I put customers' needs first before we worried too much about the rest and just hope the rest of it fell into place really.
Yes.
So yeah, I definitely took that from previous places I'd been at and adopted it straight from day one.
Now, something else I know for a fact, because I've had referrals from some random guy in automotive Facebook groups that's been like referring people to me. So I assume it's you because I only work with two automotive
Don't know
companies.
anything about
Yeah.
it.
So it sounds like you're quite big on, improvement and improving what you do and not just sitting on your hands and going, oh, we're paying the bills, we're content with that. So what are some of the things, where are some of the places you get your information an automotive service business owner? Where do you get your info? Where does all that happen?
Yeah, so look, over the years, I've had a business coach who helped us massively. Got a lot of great info from him. Recently, I've moved to a automotive workshop business group that does some group coaching. Has a lot of great insights. They encourage best practice sharing, so you find out some of the best practices within the industry from others who are already doing it or who came up with it even sometimes. So that's really good. And then there's a few automotive, not just owner groups, but like even automotive worker groups on Facebook and Instagram, stuff like that, where people are often sharing, tips and tricks in the industry and things that they are doing better than other shops, I guess. Then you can look at that and see if that fits within your culture and what you want to do with your own workshop. Um, so yeah, it really has helped being part of those few different groups and having that sort of coaching for people who know what I don't, because we always believe we can always learn more. It doesn't matter who you are and what you do. There's always more to
Yes.
learn. So we encourage that with our guys as well to to continue pushing what they know and what their skills are. So
So that's interesting because as you know, I'm a big believer in that as well. But let's pivot to marketing, but just in general. So what are some of obviously we do the Google ads.
yeah.
What other forms of marketing have you done or you're doing that you found being successful? You're finding is quite successful in building awareness or getting inquiries.
Big thing for us is really Facebook. That's sort of where it's at. That's where we started. That's all I knew. We've recently, for the last, when I say recent, probably a year and a bit, tried moving to Instagram as well. I never used Instagram myself previously. Don't crucify me on that one. But yeah, we have been trying to just learn new sort of marketing ideas. I tried the whole LinkedIn thing, didn't really work it out too well, so I sort of stuck to the Facebook and Instagram. But getting on there and showcasing what we can do, and even the reviews that follow on from that, and the referrals that come with that as well, has been really great. So I would say those two would be the biggest two areas we had focused all of our marketing efforts on before you came along. Another one is we've got an ad on the back of a bus. We've had pretty good
Oh, nice.
reception from that local community. The bus cruising around hopefully hasn't cut too many people off and hasn't put the name in the wrong people's heads for the wrong reasons. But yeah, that we've had quite a good. Uh,
Was it pretty expensive to do the bus?
no, it was actually surprisingly cheaper than I thought. I got on a pretty good rate. I worked with the salesman quite a bit to get the best rate we could, and we've locked it in for quite a while now. So definitely cheaper than I had expected. So
Do you do any radio ads or anything like that?
no, I'd considered radio, but looked into it a little bit, realised the expense was quite high, and the reach is quite broad, for us. I don't know too many people who would travel an hour or more to get their car serviced or their tyres replaced, although we do have a couple of customers that do so. I didn't think it was going to be the best place to look at spending our money. As we expand in the future and possibly have a couple of locations, it may be a good thing to go down, but for the moment, I don't think it's where the money will be best
Well,
spent.
the bus is actually really smart because the bus is just cruising around Penrith. It's like,
Yeah.
it's not going into the centre of Sydney, is it? So that's actually really quite clever. Is it just on one bus or is it several buses in town, or is it just there?
No, I've just got on the one bus. We may look in the future to expand to more buses, but being I was working for a bus company previously, I sort of knew a few things, and I said to him I really want it on a bus because generally particular buses will do particular routes. So I sort of said I
Yes.
wanted it on a bus that's going to do local routes, not the longer routes. I've also seen signs go on buses and then the bus end up in the workshop for 6 months. So I sort of said I want regular check-ins to know that bus is on the road. So yeah, having a little bit of inside knowledge on there helped me a little bit. But yeah, I made sure it was on a really local bus. So
Do
yeah,
you
it's
see
not
the
too
bus
often.
cruising around?
Yeah, we sometimes see it driving past work. I mean, most of the time I like to think we're too busy to notice it, but yeah, no, we do see it come past sometimes, or you'll pull out on the road, and if I got my daughters in the car, they'll be like, "Oh, that's bus." So
So
yeah,
you also got a few cars there with a bit of livery on them. You probably can't see him in these photos, but he's got a really nice Navara there with a full wrap on it. And I haven't shown you yet, but I just went and bought a car myself. I just bought an XR6 Turbo.
oh,
So
very
it's gonna,
nice.
yeah, so it's going to get a bit of a livery on it. And yeah, so have you found the wraps to be effective?
Yeah, definitely, definitely. So when we started here, I had a Toyota Hilux that I had previously. I decided to get that wrapped quite quickly, just for presence out on the road. And for anyone who knows our shop, we've got a couple of dirt mounds out the front that were conveniently located there before. So we park our vehicles up on there with the signage on display. And it's definitely helped a lot, especially as we've gone down that four-wheel drive modification path. People seeing a full drive with some of the equipment that we can install here out the front on display really helped grow that side of the business. So it's definitely been good. We used to do some stickers for customer vehicles as well, which had some good and some bad impressions from customers. So we stopped that, but that helped get the name sort of visible as well. Um, so yeah, that's the stickers and the delivery has worked well for us.
So what would your ratio be at the moment of four-wheel drive? Because I mean they still use the same hoists. You've got to. It's either doing
Yeah.
four-wheel drive accessories or performance or general mechanical work. So what would be the ratio? So when you started, what was the ratio of that work, and then now sort of where's the work come from, sort of thing, and what ratios are they sort of?
Yeah, so like to begin with, there was no modification. It was just tires and servicing, mechanical repairs. So as we've moved on, I would say we're at about 25%, four-wheel drive and modification kind of jobs versus 75% of regular sort of vehicles for servicing, repairs, tire replacement. But I guess with the four-wheel drive modifications that we do has come a lot more four-wheel drive servicing. So
Yes.
although they're still just servicing and general repair items, they are coming from the work that we do. People bring their car in for, let's say, a bull bar or a lift kit or a snorkel, something like that, and see that we do really good work. They're really pleased with their service. So then they come back for their vehicle servicing. There's not too many shops around that you can actually get both done at. So that's sort of been
Oh yeah, because
a
you go to an ARB or something and they just do the
yeah,
installs.
correct.
Yeah. And how have you found competing with like the ARBs and the guys that just do this stuff specifically?
Um, Look, it's not the easiest trying to get the name out. We were advertising quite a lot of really heavily discounted prices to start with, just try and get our foot in the door to showcase what we can do. A lot of the shops around sort of put the parts on and get the car going. That's what they want. They just want the parts to go on there. We found that parts don't always fit as well as we would like them to. So we sort of try and go the next step to fit them as well as they possibly can be installed on that car. So we take a lot of pride in our installs, which has really sort of helped grow our name inside that area. Another thing that we do a lot different to a lot of those is we do quite a wide variety of brands, but we'll also go and find a particular item. If it's something you want, and it's not something we would normally do, we'll go and find it for you. Whereas a lot of shops say, "No, sorry, we don't do that brand. We can do this one instead." So I don't want to push you into purchasing something you don't want. I'd rather sell you what you do want. I
Yeah,
don't want
and then
people
make it
coming
fit.
back, or not even coming back, but 6 months later thinking, "Oh shit, I really didn't want that, but I ended up with it." So,
And that's where you're like the one-stop shop. Like you may want a Safari snorkel, but like a different brand, a different brand bull bar or whatever, like
yeah,
whatever those combination is. And because like what it's like if you get into full driving, you get very specific about how
yeah,
the equipment that's on it, right? So
yeah,
like you can
definitely.
just go in there and go, I want this bull bar, I want this combination of bull bar, I want this winch, I want this, and this, and then you'll go and hunt those bits down, and then get them all to work together and fitted, and so the car rolls out, and it's instead of rolling into like three shops to get bits, each little bit done from three different suppliers.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. It's not too often that we'll do, 4 or 5 different brands in one particular build. Back in the day, there was sort of, a couple of core brands, and people went and got everything fitted by them. But as times rolled on, there's suppliers bringing out just bull bars, and they do a really really nice bull bar, and then suppliers bring out just snorkels, and they do a really really nice snorkel. So people want to sort of mix and match a
Yeah.
lot more. Um, so yeah, it's really benefited us being able to have access to a wide range of different brands.
Do you
So
do supply and fit as well? So if someone has a bull bar that they've bought, do you do fitting of supplied parts, or is it just the?
yeah, look, we do it. We try to minimize it a little bit because what we find a lot is kits that are missing parts, or templates that don't line up and don't match what they're meant to, and parts don't fit as well as they should, as I mentioned previously. When we're supplying it, we've sort of known that brand before, and we've generally used it before. So we know how it goes on. We know if there's something missing, we're going to have it here in advance. If something has to be done a certain way, we know that. But I mean, I guess that's why we do get a lot of people bring those things to us to install that they did want to take elsewhere because they know we'll take the care and time to make sure it goes in right. I had a stencil for a snorkel a couple of months back. It was a completely different car the stencil was for. So you can picture cutting a hole in your guard at home, putting the stencil on with only a little bit of an idea, and putting the stencil on and cutting the hole in it, not going in at all. How devastated you'd be.
So that was
Um,
supplied with the wrong stencil.
yeah, correct,
Oh
correct.
wow,
So
no, that
we
sucks.
realised and we looked at it and assessed it before we actually cut the hole and thought this does not look right. So we called our supplier, oh sorry, the supplier of the customer's part, and said, "Hey, this isn't right." They assured us it was, and we said, "No, it's definitely not." Sent them some photos, went back and forth for an hour or so to find out that yeah, it was the wrong stencil. So
Yeah,
save that
wow.
customer a new guard.
Yeah, you can't uncut a guard. Once you
No.
cut, that's and that's the funny thing about the workmanship. It's like you can tell people that do a lot of four-wheel drive accessories because of the way like bull bars are cut out. Like the panels are cut out for bull bars and the way their snorkels are cut out and stuff. You can tell people that do a lot of it. And we used to do a bit up in the wheat belt, and we only did it to sell a car basically. So like, like we cut in for the bull bar. One side would be bigger than the other, and it used to piss me off because it wasn't even my car. I'd just be like, guys, it's not hard to measure that and like do it
Yeah.
properly. But you do it day in day out. You learn the tricks and you learn the things to look for too, which comes with experience. And then the working with a lot of different brands. Like you go to ARB, they'll arguably fit the ARB bull bar the best, but anything that's not specific to that brand, it's like foreign. It's foreign to them. It's a different language, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right, and it's something I've had to juggle with inside myself, I guess, because these manufacturers have their time frames they expect things to be fitted in. It generally takes us longer because we're taking one, a lot more time and care in the job. But two, these companies who are fitting the same brand every single day, obviously you can imagine doing the same thing over and over again. You get quite quick at it. So because we're doing such a wide variety of parts, I have to understand that my staff aren't going to be quite as quick as what the person fitting that bar all day every day will be, but I know we're going to get a good job out of it, and they're taking their time. They're taking a bit of care in what they're doing. So, yeah, it's a battle I have inside myself all the time, thinking, oh, so and so can do it in this, but the fact that we want to offer so many different brands and items, we have to understand that we might take a little bit longer,
Yeah.
but it's all in the
And
name of getting the right job done.
and as you know, like most customers don't care if it takes longer if it's done properly. That's the main thing for 99% of people, isn't it? Just doing it properly, so you don't have to do it multiple. Don't have to do it again in 2 months when you got an issue, right?
Yep, that's exactly right. Most of our customers understand that. We've been lucky enough to have a really great customer base that they get what we're trying to do. They would rather see us take our time and do it right than just get it on there and get it out. So
Yeah. All right. So what's on the horizon, Leon? Like, what's the plan? What's the plan going forward? Obviously, ideal world, new workshop, infinite bucket of cash. But like, what sort of in the immediate short term are the sort of plans to grow? Where are you sort of taking
I mean,
PCT?
next thing for us is probably going to be having a separate store that will do our four drive and performance and modification stuff. I do slightly dislike having the two at one place. I don't want customers being intimidated turning up for their service, their regular logbook service, and seeing all these, four drives parked around the place. I feel it can be intimidating sometimes to customers. So I'd really like to separate those two to two different sites still in Penrith. That'd be great. That's sort of my next step. And then in the future, I'd like to expand to several sites, several locations, and work with someone that's at that store to pass on the values and the culture that we've built here and the great sort of reputation we've built, pass on to different areas. So that people in maybe a Blacktown store, a Parramatta store, possibly something like that, people can have that place to go to where they know they're going to get that friendly customer service, the right advice, the unpushy sales pitch.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
so Yeah,
just
I'd
like
like
a
to.
framework, you developed a framework that could work in other areas. It's just getting a position where you can like start expand that out, or like you said, work with someone in that area to take them to that. Because like you said, you know what works. It's been working for
That's
you,
it.
and it worked for someone else, right? I know you're a busy guy, and I imagine you didn't bring out your laptop charger, so your laptop's probably going to be starting to get a bit long in the tooth
Surprisingly,
in a
this
sec.
laptop goes all right.
Well, so like we've set up a little bit of a challenge now. I know you're a car guy, right? Like you don't. I've seen your little burnout cars and your cars getting around and stuff, right? You're a car guy. I'm starting to become a car guy. I don't know if you probably can't see it from here, but there's a red X. There's a yellow orange 520 horsepower X6 turbo sitting out there, and so I can see the appeal of it. But what we've done is set up a little bit of a challenge. And we're going to look at some cars, and we're going to have a little friendly competition to see who can work out whose car that belongs to.
All right, don't show me
Michelle,
up here because you've built me up.
I promise I have not looked at these. I'm very careful about showing me this stuff. Now, I think if I just go like this, and I go like that, there we go. Michelle, are you there? Maybe I'll just remove that for a sec.
Yes, from this screen
Okay, cool.
for a minute because all the answers are up.
All right, I'll just turn it on when you're ready.
And all right, I think we're good.
Okay.
All right. Can you guys see
Let's
the
go.
Can you guys see the challenge just presented?
Yes.
Yes.
Yep. All right. So I'm going to put the first picture up, and then you guys give me your answer as quick as possible, and then we'll go from there. I'll keep
pressure,
score of
man.
who's winning and who's not. All right. So first picture up. Go.
Okay, we're gonna have to move our heads. We'll move up here. Oh, jeez. That's Leon.
me.
Okay, I'll cook this. Wait, if I just go like that. No, like that. There we go. And I'll just remove our heads for a sec. So
All right, so we're guessing the owner of the car here, are we?
Yes, the owner of the car.
Oh, I'm not good with celebrities.
Well,
All right. Well, I'll
that's
give
not
you
my
a clue.
fault.
He's a comedian.
Just looking at, well, is it Steve Carroll? Is that his name?
I'm gonna say, well, Leon, you have to give me your answer, then I can tell you if they're right or not.
I have no idea.
What's the car?
I
What's the car, Leon?
It's definitely a Challenger.
Yes. Steve Carell.
Look, we'll give you a point for that, Leon.
I'm still
All
in a
right.
shot here.
We'll go down to see the answer. So it was Adam Sandler.
Oh,
That does not look
All right.
like Adam Sandler.
Yeah.
That's like a creepy old man version.
When's
of
he
Well,
wear a
it's
suit?
Adam Sandler now. Give him a
That's
break.
street cred. That's a nice car to have.
All right, next
definitely.
one. He's also a comedian, just to put it out there.
Kevin
Kevin
Gonna
Hart.
make it easier.
Kevin Hart.
Sorry,
Yeah.
did both of you say Kevin Hart?
Yeah, I think we both did at the same time.
All right, cool. That is correct. It is Kevin Hart.
What car
That's
is
too
that?
tall for him.
What is that? You reckon?
Pretty sure it's a Mercedes.
Like a G-Wagon
Looks
or
like
something.
a G-Wagon, but maybe an earlier model.
Yeah, it's V12. Nice.
Cool. Well, we'll move on to the next one. This guy.
Paul Walker.
Oh,
No, maybe not.
no.
So I've just actually increased my screen size because it was still on the little screen.
I don't know
Jimmy?
who that is. Looks like. Oh, God, this is.
Yeah,
hard.
I can see better now, but I got no idea still.
I have no idea. Honestly, have no idea who that could be.
All right. Well, it doesn't even look like him from this angle, but it's supposed to be Leonardo DiCaprio.
Oh yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. He has changed up cars since, so not sure what he's driving now. But this
You
one,
guys have too many.
you might be able to
Kanye
tell
West?
from this one here is pretty unique car and a pretty popular musician, let's say.
Kanye West and a Rolls Royce.
Well, yeah, that could be Kanye West because that looks like his missus, Kim Kardashian.
Well, that looks like he spilled paint on his
Paint on
pants,
his
and
pants.
that's a Kanye West look.
All right.
Or Drake.
It's actually Justin Bieber.
Oh,
What?
But
no
What
way.
car is that? That's like a concept car or something, is it?
it's a Rolls Royce, but he got it.
Rolls-Royce.
Yeah, it's a floating one. He got it customized.
He
All
probably
right,
needs
this
sport
one.
roof on his wheels. Oh, that's Rihanna.
Yeah,
Oh,
there you go.
didn't even see the top.
I had
the
to make it
top corner.
slightly
Well done.
No forehead anyway.
Alrighty. So at the moment, you're 2 for 2 point wise. Yes, you're correct, Jimmy. It is Rihanna. And then the
It's as
next
big as the
one.
hood.
This is really hard, but it's a female pop singer.
Ooh.
Actually, not pop singer. Sorry, she's just a female singer. She's
Got good taste
done
in
a lot.
cars. She's obviously popular because
She's
got,
well known for her car collection, actually.
Yeah, okay.
Is it she's a pop singer, is she?
No, not. I wouldn't say pop. She's more. It's hard to say. I would say like R&B. She has done a bit of pop. She's done a lot of collaboration. She's really popular.
Adele.
Ooh, that is a good
Adele's
guess.
not-
That is a really good guess. But
Adele's
no.
not R&B. I don't know.
It's not I don't know her name. It looks like possibly the lead singer of the Pussycat Dolls. I can't remember her name.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's a really good guess. Very close
Oh.
actually, but in looks
I
at
was,
least. But it's Beyonce.
Oh wow.
Oh,
She's
there
not
you
a
go.
pop singer. I don't know why I said that. I'm really sorry if that threw you off.
Threw me off.
I was gonna
Threw me
get the phone and Google it, but you got me on the Instagram over here on the phone, so I couldn't do that one.
All right,
Oh,
we'll move on to the next one. This guy.
Oh, Jerry Seinfeld.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
yes.
spot
Known
on.
for his Porsches.
Spot on. There you go. These pictures are really blurry because I've had to stretch them out a bit. So this guy.
Is that Rowan Atkins?
That Mr. Bean, I reckon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mr. Bean.
For sure.
That's a really good guess, and that is what he's done to his car.
Oh,
Yeah, wow.
That's what he's most
So what?
famous
Quickly,
for,
just quickly,
or
Leon,
well
what
known
would you
for.
charge? Just one sec, Michelle. What would you charge to fix that?
I wouldn't get near that. I wouldn't even want to start working on that. That
Well,
would
it's
that would have
actually-
to be 6 figures, I reckon, to fix a car like that.
Probably a write-off, I would have thought.
Well, it's actually cost him over $1 million to fix that. But
Wow.
Leon, you're not charging enough.
all right,
yeah.
you guys guessed that right.
Apparently not. He needs to stick
Moving
to three-wheel
on,
cars.
This car.
Oh, okay. Pickle rig.
Who's the
Yeah.
owner of it?
Pickle rig.
Yeah, I couldn't get a picture of him in there, but
Looks like a drift.
he does a lot of auto tuning in his music. Let's put it that way.
Oh, Lil Wayne.
Oh, close. No.
DJ
It's
Khaled.
up with the
He
senses.
probably would fit in that.
Well,
It'd
it's
have to be
actually
someone with a sense of
T-Pain.
humour.
Oh,
That's
okay.
Nice.
I've never seen that car before.
Well, he hasn't got his glasses on and his grills, so he does look very different.
Yeah, it's his little
Put on
brother.
A few kilos.
This guy, double denim.
Oh,
Oh, I know the name.
yeah. Jay
Oh,
Yep, that's the one.
that guy.
Leon, you don't have enough time to work on your pop culture.
No, I suck with celebrity names. I'm horrible at them. I thought this was a
Alright, well,
car
we've got
quiz.
Jay Leno right there.
That's right.
And last one, I think. This one.
Is that Oprah Winfrey?
No.
Is it it's not ludicrous, is it?
No. It's actually Jay-Z.
Oh.
Oh, nice.
You
Jeez,
guys
he looks a
did
bit
well.
old
I
there.
think that's the end of
No,
the end of our
stop putting us
guesses.
up. I think we did pretty poorly there. I know I did.
Well, look,
Uh,
it was very close. Jimmy got 5, and Leon, I think you got 4. So
How did Leon get 4?
I'll take
Got 1.
I could
Grossly undercharged for repair.
the competition,
Yeah.
the competitiveness is strong.
it's the competitiveness is strong. The skill level of judging celebrities is not.
Yeah, just stick to fixing cars, mate.
Alrighty. Well, that's it for the challenge, guys. I'm going to leave you to
All right,
it.
that was fun.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much, Michelle. Oh man, that was really good. As you can hear, I'm just about to lose my voice, so I think it's time to finish this. But man, thanks so much for coming on. If someone's watching this and they want to touch base with you, or pick your brains or whatever, where can they find you, Leon?
Look, best bet is giving us a call on 4722-3655. So that's your best bet. Or you can contact us on our Facebook, Instagram pages, or even shoot us through an email to info@pcta.com.au. Just our initials right here. Yeah, any of those ways, feel free to get on board and give us a call and have a chat to us. Let us know what you're after. We'll see how we can help.
Awesome, man. Thanks so much for coming on and talking shop with us. And start to. I think you need to watch a little bit more TV.
Yeah, thanks for that. I'll try and work on making some time to brush up on my celebrities. We'll come back and do this another time.
Sounds good, mate. Have a good one.
Thanks.